This episode of Choice Conversations is brought to you by the Sitting Solution. The Sitting Solution, it's a product I use. Sitting, it's been linked with poor health, disease, premature aging. There's a lot of great studies that have come out that back this up. I'll put a few links in the show notes to these studies. So, for example, that's been linked with increased waist circumference, higher blood pressure, higher blood glucose levels. It's been linked with blunting the activity of enzymes that are involved in fat burning. And it's also been linked to increased risk in diabetes, heart disease, and even early death. And so this is where the Sitting Solution comes in. The Sitting Solution, it's more than just decreasing the amount of time that you spend sitting. There's a lot of work to be done to correct how your body has adapted to sitting. A lot of restorative exercises, if you will. So the Sitting Solution, it can help you out if you're having back pain. It can help you get a better night's sleep. It'll improve your appearance, your health, your mood, your confidence, self-esteem, and influence. It can definitely help in all of these things. And I'm a big fan of it. So check out the Sitting Solution. Please, please, please use the link that is in the show notes to this. If you use the link to the Sitting Solution found in the show notes for this Choice Conversations episode, then you'll also be helping me out. A portion of that will go to keeping Choice Conversations up and running. So I would appreciate that, and I think you'll be pleased. It's a really, really good product, or I wouldn't be supporting it. And now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to Choice Conversations. I'm your host, Chris Stefanik. Today you're listening to part 2 of the My Life series, where I talk about the tips and tricks that I've used in my life, the life hacks, the strategies that I've implemented to help me find success. Part 1 was about my bedtime routine. Part 2, today, I'm going to talk about my morning routine. Now I should mention that I don't do the entire routine every morning. I usually do at least part of the routine. In fact, I usually do all of it. It's just occasionally I might cut some out if I have somewhere I need to be and I need to shorten it up a little bit. So, occasionally you have that early morning flight that you have to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to get out the door in time to catch it, that sort of thing. Morning routines go out the window in those scenarios, but in general, I usually do most of it. It does take me a while. It's a rather long morning routine, including the making and eating breakfast. It's probably 40 to 60 minutes before I complete it, but it really starts my day off on the right foot and helps me to be successful. So where do I begin? Well, I guess I will begin while I'm still lying in bed. So I typically go to bed around 10 p.m. at night very consistently, and then I just get up whenever my body tells me it's time to get up. That's usually around 6 o'clock. So I don't have an alarm. My wife has the alarm set for 7, but I'm almost never in bed when the alarm goes off at 7. I'm usually up before that. So between 5:30 and 6:30 is around when I get up. And my bedtime and my wake-up time, it typically doesn't change even on weekends or holidays. I'm pretty consistently going to bed at 10 and getting up around 6. And this really helps me to get a great night's rest and to keep my energy levels high, and I feel great. Before, when I was not consistent, I would often feel tired, and I just don't have that anymore. And when I wake up, I don't sit there and and lie in bed and try to go back to sleep, or roll around for a little bit. I just try to get up right away. Obviously, since I'm not using the alarm, I'm not sitting there hitting snooze and the like. There's been a lot of research that shows that it actually doesn't help you in the morning if you wake up and you try to fall back asleep for like a few minutes, and then you hit snooze, and then the alarm goes off 10 minutes later, and you hit snooze again. And like, it actually doesn't make you any more rested. It actually can make you less rested. So it can kind of throw off your circadian rhythms and fragments your sleep. So when I wake up in the morning, I just get up and hop out of bed. Next, I like to go to a room that has a lot of light. I will turn all the lights on in that room I go into. And there is some debate about whether you want natural light. There's people that say, the ideal scenario is to be outside and have the sun. Depending on what time of year it is, what the weather's like, going outside first thing in the morning, it may not be the way to go. At any rate, for me, I just find that it helps me to wake up and really start my day to go into a room with a lot of light. So I'll find a room that has a lot of light and turn the lights on nice and bright. I also like to get a big drink of water first thing in the morning. You wake up, people tend to wake up already slightly dehydrated because they haven't had anything to drink, through the night. So that's even more so the case with me, where I'm starting to taper off on drinking any kind of beverages after 8 o'clock at night, just so that I can make it through the night without having to get up and use the bathroom. So I'm pretty thirsty when I get up in the morning. So to get a nice big drink of water first thing helps me to feel better right away. And the more you become in tune with your body, the more you start paying attention to your body, you'll be able to tell right away whether you're dehydrated or not. Once you just bring that awareness into focus. Now, before I get into my first activity after getting out of bed, I want to go over a topic that is going to come up over and over during this My Life series. Katie Bowman from the Katie Says podcast, she calls it Stacking Your Life. So if you want to read more about it, you can just do a search for Katie Bowman, Stack Your Life, and she's got a nice blog article on it. But the concept is essentially killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or sometimes 3 or 4 birds. Having multiple goals, multiple things you're trying to accomplish, and finding a way to accomplish them at one time, doing one activity. So a great example of this would be going for a walk with your family. You're getting exercise. That's one of your goals. You're getting outside and getting some sunshine, that great vitamin D and all the health benefits of that, getting fresh air. So that's great for you. And you're spending quality time with your family and getting that need for conversation and connection met, and teaching healthy habits to your children as they're going for walks with you, and teaching them about spending time outside and having healthy natural movement. So all in that one activity, you can get many things done. So my first activity in the morning is I do dream analysis. And I've talked about this in the past in a previous episode. If you listened to the Dreams from My Father podcast that I recorded last year, I talk about what this kind of looks like and go into details with doing a specific dream that I analyzed. But before I talk about what the dream analysis looks like, I'm stacking my life. I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So what I also do before I start the dream analysis is I do a psoas release. So I will go ahead and include a link to a video of how to do a psoas release. But the psoas is a muscle. Specifically, this muscle, it joins, it connects your spine to the pelvis. And it's kind of hard to explain over a podcast. It'd be better to just Google it and look at pictures of it to see exactly where it's at. It's spelled PSOAS. But in our modern life, where we're very sedentary, where we sit a lot, sit in chairs or in the car, we're at a desk all day, etc., this muscle tends to get really tight and it can throw off your alignment. And it's just good to have that muscle relax And so a psoas release is a great way to start the day, and it helps me. I feel like my back feels awesome after I do a psoas release first thing in the morning. So I do that, and while I'm doing my psoas release, I'm going through my dream analysis. And I'll give you before I dive into the dream analysis, what I actually will do is a little bit of affirmations, a little bit of positive thinking. So I kind of, again, I put myself in like a meditative state. I'm relaxing my psoas. I'm doing the psoas release on the floor. And I'll breathe in. And as I'm breathing out, I will say, I am a master of dream analysis. And then I breathe in, breathe out. And as I'm breathing out, I'm saying, and this is in my mind, I'm not actually saying this out loud. I say, my dreams are pleasant and insightful. And then I repeat it. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm a master of dream analysis. Breathe in, breathe out. My dreams are pleasant and insightful. Then what I do is in my mind, I tell the tale of what happened in my dream. I will go through each detail, every detail that I can remember about this dream. And then I try to figure out what the dream is about. And basically I kind of use the sentence stem completion exercises, that the method for that as detailed by Nathaniel Branden. I use that to figure out what the dream is about. And so if you're not familiar with Nathaniel Branden's sentence stems, it's basically you start with the beginning of a sentence, and then you just let naturally whatever comes to mind, you complete the sentence. So, in this example, it would be the dream I just had was about, and then I just let whatever comes to mind flow out. It was about my job. It was about my childhood. It was about whatever. I just let it come out. And the more I do it, the better I get at it, where now it's like I know right away whether the stems were accurate or not. And then I just drill down from there. I keep asking more stems until I get more clarity on the dream, or asking, I even will turn it into questions and then just kind of let the answers to those questions flow out of me. And it works pretty well. I'm almost always able to figure out what my dream was about with a high degree of confidence. So the psoas release and the dream analysis can be as short as 4 or 5 minutes, or as long as 10 to 20. It just depends on how long it takes me to get through that dream, to tell the tale, and then to complete the dream analysis. Sometimes the dream analysis comes slowly, sometimes it's fast. It really depends on if there's a part of me that doesn't want me to know what the message is to that dream. If there's a part of me that's like fighting against it and is like, no, this dream is trying to reveal something to you that I don't want you to know about, then I might have to work with that and get past it, and show compassion for that part of me that feels that way. But yeah, that's about the time frame. It's 5 to 20 minutes depending. Next up after that is I like to do a little morning yoga. And I learned this from clarke-fields. She's been on the show several times. She's passionate about yoga, about parenting, and you should definitely check out her work. Check out her appearances on Choice Conversations, as well as her own podcast she has on yoga and the like. So really good stuff. But I had joined in one of her mindfulness retreats, and one of the things she had us do while on this retreat was first thing in the morning to practice yoga. So me being the guy who stacks my life, the guy who tries to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, while I'm doing these yoga stretches, I'm also working in some affirmations to get my mind thinking in a positive way, to get my mind going down the right road for the day. So the first stretch, it's just a simple child's pose. I get in child's pose and I say to myself, I am rested, refreshed, restored, renewed. I am young, healthy, and full of vitality. I am whole and healed. Today is a great day. I have a positive attitude. I have a smile on my face, a twinkle in my eye, and a skip in my step. I am motivated and driven, and will accomplish much today, always keeping one eye on priorities so that I'm always working on the highest priority item given the current context. In case you're not clear what that last little bit meant, the current context would be, the highest priority item for me while I'm sitting at home might be a lot different than if the context is I'm at the office. And it might be a lot different than if I'm out on the town running errands. The highest priority item changes at the time. If I'm at the beach with my family, the highest priority item is a lot different at that moment. So it's I don't really restrict this to just things that would be quote unquote work. I include all of my life in my hierarchy of priorities. And some of those priorities are things like leisure and play, and some of them are getting things done for work and cleaning up the house and whatnot, cooking dinner. So that's just adding some clarity to what that means. And then this next part typically changes depending on what day of the week it is. If it's a work day, I say, I love my job. I'm great at my job. If it's a weekend, I will typically think about what it is I'm going to be doing that day, and we'll say a little something about that. Or if I'm on vacation, I'd say, my travels today are going to go smoothly, easily, stress-free. I'm going to have a great time on this vacation. That sort of thing. So continuing on with the affirmations while in child's pose. I love my family. We have a great relationship. We respect each other, understand each other, have tremendous goodwill for one another. We work together so that everyone's needs get met. We live in peace and harmony together. We have tremendous kindness and compassion for one another, patience, tolerance, acceptance. We love each other. We have a great relationship together. So you'll notice right there I just did a little repetition. That's something that I often will put into my affirmations is repeating things. It helps to entrench that thought in the mind, because our thoughts are habitual, and knowing that, I try to work with that and make my thoughts habitual on the things that I want them to be on. I'm being positive, I'm being a great father, I'm being a great husband, on being successful in my financial endeavors, on being healthy, etc., rather than just letting the habits be things that progressed through my life from that were not there of my choosing. Things like having an inner critic that's sitting there telling you how you're not doing a good job all the time, or shaming you, or the like. Rather than having those kind of habits, I want to have positive, habitual thoughts. And repetition is a great way of getting that in there. So you'll notice that in my affirmations, that a lot of times I will have repetitions. So moving on to the rest of the affirmation. I have tremendous presence and focus. I enjoy each moment of each day, living life to the fullest. Today is a great day. All right, and then from there I go into the next stretch that Hunter talks about. And this is, it's called cat-cow. So for those of you who are familiar with yoga, you will know what I'm talking about right away. If you're not and you're interested, I'm sure if you just go on YouTube and look for cat-cow, it'll come right up. And I usually do about 10 to 15 repetitions of cat-cow just till my spine feels really good and loose. It's really great for getting the spine mobile. And then from there I go, since I don't do an affirmation while I'm doing that, since I'm just counting out the repetitions. Next I go into a spinal twist, where cat-cow is working the spine, moving from forward to backward. The twist works it from side to side, works on mobility. So what I do is I sit Indian style, try to find length in my spine. So I'm sitting up very straight and length out at the top of my head. And then while leaving from the torso down steady, we'll take my shoulders and turn them and use my hands on the floor to get a little extra stretch, and while looking over one shoulder. So I will go to one side, hold that for a little bit, and then go to the other side and hold that for a little bit. And while I'm doing this, I'm also doing another affirmation. And this is one I learned from Hunter again, actually, during the same mindfulness retreat. It's called a loving kindness meditation. And I really, really like this affirmation. It's a great one that sometimes just if I'm feeling like I need it in the middle of the day, maybe feeling a little stressed or whatever, I will repeat the loving kindness meditation to myself just in the middle of the day. It helps me to feel better and helps me to get those thoughts right on the track I want them going down. And how it goes is, may I be filled with loving kindness. And again, as you're doing these, you kind of want to get yourself in a meditative state, kind of clear your mind. Closing your eyes helps a lot for this. And just having more of an inward focus. And it's, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. And also like doing it with helping you to bring your mind into focus. If you do it with your breathing, that helps a lot too. So it helps to clear out the clutter, I find. So like breathe in, breathe out. May I be filled with loving kindness. Breathe in, breathe out. May I be well. Breathe in, breathe out. May I be peaceful and at ease. Breathe in, breathe out. May I be happy. So that's how Hunter taught it to me. I actually subscribe to the Joseph Murphy School of Positive Thinking Techniques. So Joseph Murphy, he wrote The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's a great book. I recommend it to anyone who's interested in affirmations and just becoming more positive, and what a great benefits, seeing those benefits that you can gain from that. At any rate, he says, rather than saying it like asking, may I, and he doesn't talk about the loving kindness meditation specifically, but he talks a lot about positive thinking. He always says your affirmations, you should just state it like, this is how it is. It's not, I'm moving in this direction. I'm already there. So with that in mind, with that technique, I actually do mine a little differently than how Hunter says. I say the loving kindness meditation like this. So I will say, I'll twist to one side. Again, I'm stacking my life, so I'm getting two things done at the same time. So I twist to one side and we'll say, I am filled with loving kindness. And again, in coordination with my breath, I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. I am happy. And then I twist to the other side. And again, we like repetition, right? So we're going to do it again on the other side. Twist the other way, and I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. I am happy. I get one repetition each side, and then when I'll go back to the other side, and now I will think about somebody who's really important to me. So typically I will think about my wife, and I'll imagine her in my mind as much detail as I can, and then breathe in, and as I'm breathing out, I say, you are filled with loving kindness. Breathe in, breathe out, you are well. Breathe in, breathe out, you are peaceful and at ease. Breathe in, breathe out, you are happy. And again, then turn the other way, and again, repeat it. Be my wife's image in my mind. So I do it once on one side, once on the other. And then I'll do another set, and this time I will typically go with my daughter and repeat the same thing. I'll picture my daughter and do the loving kindness meditation once per side. And then I'll think about who else, if there's someone else that's going to be in my life that day. Maybe I have a meeting with a client, or maybe I'm going out to dinner with friends that night or something like that. And I'll picture those friends in my mind, and I'll do it then. So I usually 4 total, 4 per side, 4 loving kindness meditations per side as well. That's a really good one. And then my spine just feels amazing between those cat-cows and then the sideways twists. So the next stretch I do is not from Hunter. That completes the morning yoga from Hunter, but I've added a few of my own to it, or actually not my own, a few that I've gotten from The Sitting Solution, which is a really, really great book. I highly recommend you get it. There's a link to it in the show notes for this. Please click on that and buy The Sitting Solution. And in that, one of the stretches that they talk about is called a womb squat. And I like to get a womb squat every morning, so I will get into the womb squat. And while I'm in it, again, I will do some more affirmations. And I try to coordinate it with my breathing. I am the master of my universe. I choose my outcomes. I choose peace, serenity, harmony. I choose love, connection, empathy. I choose happiness, smiles, laughter. I choose fun, play, excitement. I choose health, youth, vitality. I choose success, wealth, abundance. I choose productivity, effectiveness, and efficiency. I choose improvement, growth, and healing. I choose presence and focus. I choose life. And then usually from there, I will see how my legs feel, how my body feels. And a lot of times I still feel like staying in the womb squat a little longer. So I'll try to stay in it about as long as I can. And I might do some more affirmations from there, and they vary from day to day what they might be. One I like to do is the serenity prayer. I think that's a really good one. There are others. I mean, you can pick what you like if you're considering doing this yourself. So the next one I do is also from the sitting solution. And in this one, I'm really trying to fight forward head. The sitting solution, one of the themes in it is fighting forward head. If you're not aware of what forward head is, you should probably check it out, because you may have it. And if you have it, it's going to be something that's going to lead to you aging faster than you otherwise would, not aging gracefully, essentially. And you'll look better if you can correct that forward head. You'll age more gracefully, and you'll feel better, and you'll look better. So, and now when I see people with forward head, it's unattractive. I can tell right away, and it looks just off to me. They don't look healthy. At any rate, the exercise I do, it's on page 68 of the sitting solution. It's called a chin tuck with extension. So I like to do the standing version. There's a sitting version and a standing version, and I prefer to do standing. And if you want to know what that is, you can get the sitting solution and check that out. But I will do typically like 10 repetitions of the chin tucks with extension to just get my neck really good and mobile. And it's a restorative exercise. It's one of those to help you correct forward head if you have it. And most of us in our modern society have it to one degree or another, because of how much time we spend sitting, reading on the computer, and so forth. Well, that completes the morning yoga segment of my morning routine. But the next thing I like to do is I like to get in a little bit of calisthenics. So I shoot for about 5 or 10 minutes of calisthenics. So there's kind of an interesting story as to how I started doing, or rather why I started doing calisthenics in the morning. So I'm somebody that, as long as I can remember, at least since I was a teenager, I remember it as a teenager, I've had cold hands. And, recently I've investigated into that, trying to figure out what could be the reason why I would have cold hands often. And of course, one of the things that comes up is poor circulation. And poor circulation can be a symptom of bigger problems. There can be some serious problems with it. It could be like high blood pressure, low blood pressure, thyroid not functioning right, and all kinds of different things. And I've gone down kind of the laundry list of reasons why I could have poor circulation, and can't really figure out what it would be. I don't appear to have any of those things, And I'm wanting my my circulation to be good. And I know it's healthy, like, for example, for brain function. I was reading in a great book. It's called Why Isn't My Brain Working? And it's from, I'm going to totally butcher this guy's name. I'm sorry, but it's like Datus Karazian, something like that. Probably nothing like that. But if you search for Why Isn't My Brain Working, you should find the book, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Really good stuff in that book, by the way. But he talks about in there how just poor circulation is terrible for your brain, which is something I'm petrified of, as there is, some history of Alzheimer's and dementia in my family. And, so I'm super concerned about brain health and aging and going out in style, essentially, to aging gracefully. And one of the things he says to do if you have poor circulation, and maybe my hands being cold has nothing to do with circulation, maybe it's something else. Maybe that's why when I checked out these other things, my thyroid function, my blood pressure, etc., they were all fine. It's because, I don't know why my hands are cold, but it's probably something I need to keep looking at. But one of the things he recommends for people who have poor blood circulation is to help get their nitric oxide modulation functioning well. This really helps with circulation of the brain and can help to fight this problem. So, he recommends the calisthenics in the morning. So in case you're not sure what it is I'm talking about, having healthy nitric oxide function, it supports things like tissue healing, having a healthy anti-inflammatory response, having a balanced immune response. In the beneficial form of nitric oxide, it's like ENOS. It helps repair immune barriers, it boosts blood flow, and it dampens inflammation. And promoting this good form of nitric oxide, ENOS, it inhibits the bad form of nitric oxide, which is INOS. And that's the form of nitric oxide that promotes inflammation, tissue damage, leaky gut, and all these kind of poor health things. Doing calisthenics can actually help to stimulate the good form of nitric oxide production. It gets those activated. It activates your ENOS. And he says, if you've got any kind of circulation issues, it's good to get that going right away in the morning. And so I started doing this 5 to 10 minutes of calisthenics, to support that high functioning nitric oxide, the beneficial version of nitric oxide, to get that going. What I like to do is, I change it up from day to day. So I'll do like one great way, and I'm really just looking to get my heart rate flowing, to get my heart thumping real hard, and that's kind of what he talks about in the book is, get that heart rate thumping real high. And it doesn't really matter what you do, but if you do that for a short period, it promotes that healthy nitric oxide function. And so jump rope is a great one. So I'll jump rope for 5 to 10 minutes is one I'll do. Another one I will do is burpees. I'll do like 5 minutes of burpees. And actually there's a version of burpees that I like that's works the entire body. The one thing that burpees the traditional burpees, what it doesn't really work would be like your back or your biceps. It doesn't have any kind of a pull motion to it. So what I'll do is I have a pull-up bar that I can stick in a doorway in my house, and I'll do a burpee. And when you get to the part of the burpee where you leap up, I'll do the leap up, and then I'll grab the pull-up bar and do a pull-up. And then once I complete the pull-up, then I drop down and, do the push-up, continue the burpee from there. But, it's basically a burpee with a pull-up worked into it. And I'll do 5 minutes of those. Boy, I tell you, if doing burpees for 5 minutes doesn't get your heart rate going, then, I just don't know what to say. But for me, you can always do it faster, I guess. Push yourself to go do them as fast as possible if your heart rate's not accelerated. But it does the job for me, and I get feeling pretty good after doing 5 minutes of burpees with that pull up worked in there. It's a good, nice whole body workout to get the day started. Some other things I'll do is I'll work in some of the exercises that are in the sitting solution. So a lot of the exercises, they have all these restorative exercises. Some of them are just stretches, and you're not really going to be getting your heart rate accelerated, but others will really get it going fast. So an example of that would be the thoracic bridge. It's one I've not seen it anywhere else, but in the sitting solution. It's on page 95 of the sitting solution. Maybe other people do it, I don't know, but it's a pretty cool exercise to do, and it's kind of fun to do as well. And I'm not going to even bother to try and explain it. Just get the sitting solution, and it comes with links to videos that'll show you how to do it. It's kind of a complex motion, full body functional movement kind of exercise that will correct a whole bunch of issues in your body at once, but it will get your heart rate flowing. I'll do maybe 10 repetitions of that, and then I'll go into another exercise from the sitting solution immediately with no break in between. So I might do some of the kettlebell exercises that are in the sitting solution, and then go to like another one, which would be, it's called wall angels. It's another one that really, I find it gets my heart rate going, and then just cycle through these exercises with no break in between. And, you could go into like, jump squats, do 10, 20 repetitions of a jump squat, and then go drop down and do push-ups, do 20 push-ups, and then go back and do the thoracic bridge again or whatever. Go back and do some kettlebells and just do 5-10 minutes of that where your heart and lungs aren't getting any kind of break at all. But, while you're doing push-ups, your legs are resting. While you're doing jump squats, your chest is resting. So your muscles, you're getting a nice little resistance training workout while also working that heart and working those lungs and supporting your nitric oxide function. So that's the next thing I do is calisthenics. All right, next thing would be it's time to start getting more than just water into my body. So I like to have a cup of tea in the morning. I've gotten off of coffee. I used to be very much addicted to caffeine and would have basically a pot a day. I would have a cup in the morning, and then, an hour later I'd have another cup, and then 2 hours after that I'd have a cold cup. 1 in the afternoon, another cup. And since getting my sleep in check, I've been able to drop coffee completely. And not that a little bit of coffee is bad for you, but when you're using it as a crutch because your energy levels aren't right, because you're not getting a good night's sleep and your circadian rhythms are all out of whack, then that's not a good thing. And for me, I just went cold turkey and said I'm done with coffee. That isn't to say that I'm completely without caffeine, because I have my 1 cup of tea in the morning. Typically I have green tea, but 1 cup of green tea is much less than 1 cup of coffee as far as caffeine goes, and I just have 1 cup. But I don't just have a cup of green tea. I will also put in turmeric. I put in some turmeric into it, and I also put in some ginger. Now, these two spices are like superfoods. They are super great for your health in many ways. Turmeric, if you just look at Google the health benefits of turmeric, and there's just tons of them. One that comes up over and over again it's really great at fighting inflammation, keeping inflammation down, which inflammation is linked to cancer. It's linked to heart disease. Yeah, it's linked to Alzheimer's. It's really, inflammation is terrible for brain health, that sort of thing. But it has other benefits beyond that. And ginger as well has just multiple benefits. They're both really considered superfoods. And I know a lot of people struggle with turmeric. They don't really like the taste of it. I found that ginger actually pairs really well with turmeric, and it kind of takes some of that bite away. It makes them, so together they're not too bad, where individually turmeric could be a little rough. And, in tea, it's not too bad, where if you were just trying to take like a spoonful of turmeric, it's pretty awful. But in tea, it actually, it tastes decent. I'm not going to say that it tastes better if the tea doesn't taste better without the turmeric. I think it detracts from the taste of the tea a little bit, but it's not terrible. It's certainly a much better solution to getting the turmeric in my body than just eating it off a spoon, which is pretty bad. Admittedly, that's pretty bad. And I also put some heavy cream in there just because I like the taste of it, and heavy cream is delicious. I get grass-fed, which is a healthier version of the cream than just the traditional grain-fed dairy. Gets that some healthy fats in me to help, get my day started right. And then with that tea, I go into breakfast. And again, it's pretty fat-filled, protein-filled, low-carbish kind of breakfast, nutrient-dense breakfast. I'll get into more what my breakfast looks like, as well as the rest of my food during another installment of the My Life series. One of those is going to be nutrition. What kind of food am I using to fuel my body? Yeah, and there are a handful of supplements I take with my breakfast in the morning. I may end up doing a whole show on supplements, or maybe I'll just include it in the My Life show on nutrition, on my diet. But I'm not going to get into those right now. I think this has been long enough. But that's pretty much it. That's how the day gets started for me. It's not a short morning routine. I know a lot of people are listening to this thinking, you're kidding. You want me to spend 30, 40, 50 minutes doing all this various stuff? And I don't have time for that. I need to get out, as it is, I don't have time for a million other things in my life. But what I've found is this enhances my productivity and my attitude so much that I get more done. Like if you remember, one of my affirmations was, today I'm going to be productive. I'm going to get a bunch of stuff done. And just having your mind in that mindset, I'm then focused for hours after that, really knocking things out. My mind stays focused on priorities rather than drifting off and, what's going on on Facebook today? What's going on in the world of sports or whatever? Checking the news and the like. I firmly believe that time spent sets me up to, between my mind being on the right track and physically feeling great and my having a lot of energy and just feeling good and limber from the yoga and the like. It sets me up that I'm more productive throughout the day. Even though I have one less hour of my day or however long it takes me, it doesn't always take me an hour to get through all of that. By the time I've eaten my breakfast and the like, it's not all of that. But it often is about an hour to do all of that. And even though I have one less hour because I've been doing these various things that I've been talking about in this podcast, I get more stuff done because I take time for myself. I take that hour to take care of myself and to get myself on track for the day and to set my intentions for the day and to take care of my body, mind, and spirit. So, all right. Well, I hope that was helpful, and I'll close it up right there. And I hope you check in for the next installment of the My Life series coming soon. All right. Take care. Full moon it rises, I enter the glen, waited for so many years. Summer solstice, the flame is alive, divine.